Hello, welcome to the Health In Show, an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. You've come to the right place to tune in and participate with your comments and questions. Love is the greatest healer of all, but sometimes, in order to change our emotions, we must take action in other spheres of our lives. We speak with experts in alternative and complementary health fields and hope you will benefit in some small or great way. Remember, you are wherever your thoughts are. Make sure your thoughts are where you want to be. A gentle waking up, whether you're dozing. I'm putting the producer to sleep. He's so relaxed, and I hope you are too. I want to welcome you to the Health In Show. It is an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. I just came back from a yoga meditation retreat, and I wanted to share whatever wells up in my heart for our love and faith of homeopathy. And I know that all of you who are out there listening also have a deep love and appreciation and thankfulness for our ability to heal ourselves deeply. And I was in my meditation this morning thinking how each of us is a world unto ourselves. And if we can go deeply to heal our world within ourselves by repairing each individual, we will be contributing to something called tikkun olam, healing the world by healing ourselves, healing our relationships, facing our fears, our delusions, our inadequacies, our weaknesses, our fragilities. And I am just speaking from the heart today. I do have lots and lots of prepared notes, and wherever it takes me, I'm going to follow it and hopefully hear from you. Yes, you may call in to 919-518-9773 in the U.S. And if you're anywhere else in the world, internationally, call in via Skype at Computers 2K Voice. Good day, Dr. Deepak Sharma from New Delhi, India, the Orbix Clinic, my marvelous, marvelous co-host, and thank you for always being with us. I don't know whether you were able to hear our new introduction.
Sorry for the delay. And
no problem.
It's really wonderful that we are talking about the faith.
Yes, we're talking about faith. So I thought I would pick out the organon of medicine here and just start with the founder who actually laid down the laws for us so that we could learn and begin and become physicians to heal ourselves, and for practitioners who spend their lives studying, learning, always something new, and integrating this dynamic form of medicine. We are dynamic, and so is our medicine. And if you're not seeing me in a gray sweater and a shiny black collar, you need to refresh, because I just needed to refresh for myself to get to today's show. Samuel Hahnemann in the Organon at the very beginning says, the physician's highest calling, his only calling, is to make sick people healthy, to heal as it is termed. And this is not based on purely faith. It's based on science. It's based on observation. It's based on experience, documentation, repeated over and over again, so that he had proof that homeopathy worked. Now, I also want to send all of our gratitude and thankfulness to all the people out there who have contacted me regarding the show. You can see at the top, Unified Field, that is Christina Munns in Australia, who's doing a program of her own right now about this unified field and how it relates to homeopathy. She will be a guest in October. I want to thank John for his work in homeopathy and the bees. Kathy, she contacted me early this morning about her story. And there are so many people with their stories that we need to gather them up. Mariana and Senya, who is very involved with astrology and homeopathy. Dr. Kubashan, who is a guru himself and a teacher. So I just want to acknowledge, I can't name everybody, but I want to acknowledge all of you for knowing that something attracted you to this information. Something brought you here today, whether you glean a little bit of a message to inspire and motivate you to keep going forward. And that's what I do every day. Did you have a motivational thought, Dr. Sharma?
Devi, I am hearing very low voice. Please repeat again. What did you say?
Okay, I'm asking, I would like you to just butt into my conversation at any time if you have something to say, and just interrupt me at any time. But I'm just going to do a stream of consciousness from these readings, okay? Do you have anything that you want to say before I begin? And don't forget, folks can call in or say something on the chat if they get an idea. Okay, you're having a problem hearing. Okay, so I'm going to also take another little quote from Hahnemann. It's from aphorism number 269 of the 6th edition, and he says, "Long before this discovery of mine, experience has taught several changes which could be brought about in different natural substances by means of friction, for instance, warmth, heat, fire, development of odor in odorless bodies, magnetization of steel, and so forth. But all these properties produced by friction were related only to physical and inanimate things, whereas it is a law of nature according to which physiological and pathogenic changes take place in the body's condition by means of forces capable of changing the crude material drugs, even in such as had never shown any medicinal properties." So something that you think could not be medicinal, by releasing the energy through the process of potentization, through shaking, succussion, friction, rubbing, heat, you release the energy. And it is that energy that, if it resonates with another living body that is in proximity to it, will begin that process, that resonance, to heal. This is brought about by trituration and succussion, he says, but under the condition of employing an indifferent vehicle in certain proportions. This wonderful physical and especially physiological and pathogenic law of nature had not been discovered before my time. No wonder, then, that the present students of nature and physicians, so for unknowing, cannot have faith, and that is our topic, cannot have faith. And I made so many cards. I made 8 cards, and I didn't even put the topic, faith. And so, is faith equivalent to truth? Or is faith beyond doubt? And so, I will get to that in a moment. The students cannot have faith in the magical curative powers of the minute doses of medicines prepared according to homeopathic rules, dynamization. They're dynamized. So, what is he telling us? How can we have faith in something that doesn't make sense? Or it is the power of our faith in trust. I didn't bring the word trust with me. Trust in ourselves. You carry it inside. I'm carrying it inside. Okay. Thank you, Amnon, the marvelous, loving producer here. He's telling us that we carry, as long as we carry that trust and that belief and that faith in ourselves and our ability to heal, we will continue to seek out a method that will do it. And as Hahnemann said, our prime motive is to heal without harm. Okay. I'm going to read something by Emily Dickinson. A doubt, if it be us. A doubt, if it be us, assists the staggering mind in an extremer anguish until it footing find. An unreality is lent, a merciful mirage that makes the living possible while it suspends the lives. That's Emily Dickinson. So, it's a beautiful poem. What kind of delusions realities do we create for ourselves in order to survive, to live, to get on with our anguish, with our suffering, with our pain? Is it a mirage? Do we unfold and evolve so that we grow and become better and then trust ourselves from doubt to belief and trust? Have you any of your own kinds of thoughts that you wake up to each day? I will check in, or maybe I'll ask Amnon or Dr. Deepak Sharma to check in with the chat, because as I continue to speak, I'm not really focusing too well on the chat. We have on the internet many, many articles that are attacking or against or oppositional to homeopathy. People who are non-believers, I would say, have a difficulty with trust, with belief in the powers that be within them, to recognize when they observe and experience something that is real. That is a real world for that individual. And if somebody says to you that after taking a remedy, they got better, we need to believe them. We are the witness to them. So they say placebo is harmful. Akshay Shetty responds. She's a consulting homeopath. You say, quote, additional scientific research has repeatedly found homeopathic remedies ineffective and their postulated mechanisms of action implausible. Homeopathic remedies have been the subject of numerous clinical trials, revealing at best no effect beyond placebo. At worst, a treatment could be actively harmful. Okay, this is a dichotomy. It doesn't really make too much sense. So a remedy which has no effect beyond placebo reveals nothing at best, yet it could be actively harmful. Would not it be wise to clear your own doubts before posting? Having lived with homeopathy for years and will so coming in the future, and really the anti-homeopathy posts make no difference now. Homeopathy has survived beyond doubts, and the question, does it work, is non-existent now. It has worked. It does work. It will work. There's no question. As long as people use it and find that it is healing for them, they will continue to use it, no matter what the opposition says. What the opposition does, tries to ban it, tries to change the laws, tries to make access to these homeopathic remedies unavailable for practitioners and people. We have the power actually to create our own homeopathic remedies. And with knowledge and study and learning and experience, we can grow even further. Dr. Kubashan says, trust is the greatest gift one person can give to another. Marvelous. Because what we're going to learn probably come many of the other future shows here is Christina Munns, who's studying unified field. We are all in this universe together. We are witness to each other. We are messengers for each other. We are giving and receiving constantly breath, inhalation and exhalation, energy, smiles, love, all of these things. And so trust is the greatest gift one person can give another. And Kavitha Kukanor says, yes, belief and trust plays a great role in homeopathy. Dr. Bob, but homeopathy works whether or not you believe in it. Absolutely. Because fact is fact, truth is truth. Maybe you haven't reached the point where you have experienced a positive experience just yet. That's possible. Many people have not found it working for them. They just need to continue to search until they make a match, until they're the person who understands who and what they need, the pattern matching mechanism, the simillimum. When they get it, it will be without doubt. Kavitha says, you and me believe that, and we are struggling to prove that to the world with respect to our homeopathy. You know, as long as we continue to practice and work, learn and grow, we're proving it, we're reproving it over and over to ourselves. We're reproving over these remedies and learning new things about them and confirming what we know about them. Because our world is changing, we're changing our environment so drastically with the manipulations that we're doing, and people who are doing them have no concept, or there's something, I want to say, misaligned in their essence, that they are continuing to do something that is harmful to the earth, to the populations, things that we know about and read every day about pesticides, insecticides, GMOs, changing our genetic code, believing that somebody is God, playing God, when there's only something unknowable, untangible, we can't even say the name, that's all powerful, the creator and the created. We are that. I have an article here. Natural miracle cures, faith-based medicine, or plain old scam. And I want everyone, if they're a homeopath or love homeopathy or practice, a mother, an athlete, whoever you are, a scientist, a chemist, whatever you do, and you're interested, go and read. See what people are talking about. Put your comment in. And continue to seek. It says, are alternative homeopathic treatments which produce no provable results. You see, they start off their article with a premise that is false. And if you start a premise, if you start any mathematical equation with a falsehood, you will not end up with a truth. The equation cannot be solved in that way. So that's what they tell us to begin with, which produce no provable results according to science, yet which are still recommended by doctors. Yes, doctors are using them. Physicians around the planet, thousands and thousands of them, and millions of people are using it because it works. Some combination of natural remedy and mind game, he says. Is it a mind game? Is it just placebo? Quote, ultimately, who gives a damn whether it's scientifically proven if it works? There are very valid questions about how it works, but whether it's my mind or the product, it's working, and it's working without side effects. Isn't that the most important thing? Hahnemann told us, healing without harm. That's the argument for homeopathic remedies presented by Anthony Quayum, the co-owner of a large homeopathic pharmacy in Chicago, quoted in a recent Chicago Tribune story. He has a point. If you feel that some vitamin or herb is helping, then it is helping. Then again, I'm sure that centuries ago, people genuinely felt that leeches helped erase their arthritis or chronic back pain. He's trying to tell you that the people who used leeches were disillusioned, and it wasn't helping them. But you know what? We are using leeches today. We have gone back to that and found that everything in the universe has a purpose. For some doctors and scientists, the prospect of unproven, scientifically unfounded treatments is borderline insulting. Now, why should anybody be insulted? Why should anybody be offended? Why should anybody be criticized? Basically, if you are your own world, and this is your belief system, you have to live with that. You have to trust in that. And if you don't align with the other person because they have a different belief system, live and let live. And that I have a card. Freedom. Freedom from suppression. Freedom from repression. Do you see that we are living in an era today that is our story? And the only way that we can survive and continue is to practice in our mind, in our meditation, in our words, in our conversations, in our communications, and in doing our work and speaking out and writing to Congress people, to representatives in your government, to the medical organizations, to keep moving forward. And to tell people, yes, this is science. Yes, it is. It is proven. And give them documentation if that's what they need. And you know, people who are non-believers, no matter how many facts you give them, it's not going to sway their belief system, will it? So that means that we have to act very gently. We have to come to a place where they can understand and listen. We have to listen to them. What does it say here? The Tribune sums up the sentiment of homeopathy critics here. Few things rile scientific skeptics more than homeopathy, a baffling form of alternative medicine in which patients are given highly diluted and vigorously shaken preparations to trigger the body's natural healing ability. Though it has been used for centuries, and some studies have reported positive findings, so here they are acknowledging some studies do, the practice has no known scientific basis. Bah humbug. Hahnemann was a scientist. He was a physician. He translated all the medical volumes from 17 different languages. He was a smart and wise healer. And he was the beginning of clinical trials. It was the beginning of provings. That's his documentation. That's his teaching in the Organon. Where did they get it from? Where did the doctors today get it from? They get it from homeopathy. Where does the principle of vaccination come from? It comes from homeopathic doctrine, homeopathic law, natural law. And I recommend everybody to read the Organon of Medicine. I did a reading 2010 for a whole year, and you can go back and listen to those audio archives. He says, who needs evidence? Not the growing number of American consumers who in 2009 bought into homeopathic treatments to the tune of $870 million, up from 10% from the year before. So is he negating our personal world, our personal evidence, our personal truth, our own individual provings? And you add all of those provings up together. That's a massive amount of proof and documentation. Just because the one person didn't send it into a scientific journal doesn't mean that it's not proof. I'm going to go over and read, and I want to thank everybody who did send me notes. Kathy Lemon, she's here. I'm going to quote her. She said, I saw this yesterday on Facebook, and this is proof of homeopathy. This is proof that you're there. because I only put that little message up from Mark O'Sullivan at something like 2:30 in the morning. And when I woke up this morning, there were near 4,000 views and 53 shares. What does that mean? We are unified, and we must continue to be. She says, "Dear lovers of homeopathy, I'm planning an impromptu health-in show for Monday about faith in homeopathy. I would love your input, thoughts, quotes, stories that keep homeopathy alive in our minds, hearts, and communities. Many thanks for being you. Love, Debbie." That's me. And she said, she just saw the pending notification. "Are you wanting stories from just anybody? Faith-promoting ones in regard to homeopathy? I see you're going to delve into history as well." I could go out and give you lots of statistical figures, right? Or you can do the research about how many people in every country. Dana Ullman, please see what he's written on Huffington Post. He's told us the history of homeopathy, the great celebrities and people of leaders in the world, Mahatma Gandhi, presidents in the United States, great people who, they're not dummies. You think that they just believe in something false? If it works for them, they're going to talk about it to their friends. That's what we do. Okay, so she says, "I see you're going to delve into history. I've got so many personal convictions that have developed through my usage of this. It was a single dose of a $10 remedy that cured our oldest son of something that had literally been afflicting him for years. And this was just after his first visit with a very well-known homeopath I had been blessed to make connections with to see him. He simply answered a single question a certain way, and he knew he needed this. This story alone gives me absolute faith that homeopathy works, and I look at how it helped completely heal the pelvis of my mother's former boyfriend that shattered when he was hit by a car. So this is not minimal stuff. This is deep acting on physical, emotional, mental, spiritual levels. My skeptical husband climbed right on board several years ago when he noticed how Apis gently and quickly took away the itch from some bug bites he got. It has healed many illnesses, has helped with hay fever and so much more, but it was the profound healing of our eldest son when he was quite young that is the one example I simply need to reflect on to fully convince myself over and over how safe and truly effective homeopathy is and how powerfully it works when used properly. Thank you, Kathy Lemon. I have also, if I can scoot over my many, many papers of notes, somebody on Minutus, if you're on Minutus at Yahoo, it's a wonderful community of homeopaths. I wish I could name every fantastic homeopathic website and blog. If you know of one, comment, go there, let them know that somebody's listening. Share it with your friends. While I'm looking, Amy Page says on Facebook, "What are you doing today? Each day is a new opportunity. Yesterday is over and done. Today is the first day of my future." That's by Louise L. Hay. And that's how we must wake up. What are we going to do today? I'm searching through all of these notes for something that was about a bee sting. Somebody was on Minutus asking for help about a bee sting, and the response was how this person actually made their own bee remedy because they were in a place where they had access to nothing, and so they crushed the person was actually stung all over their body by hundreds of bees, and perhaps I won't be able to find it, but basically what they did, and everybody in the family unit that was camping out, they looked at this person like they were kind of loony, but she took the bee and crushed it, diluted it, succussed it, made her own remedy right there and then, and this child who was covered in stings, who was going into anaphylactic shock, recovered. With each dose, came out of it more and more. That's the power of releasing the energy within plants, minerals, and animals that we have at our disposal on the planet. And if I can find it, I will let you know. I will let you know where you can find that. Dr. Sharma, do you have a story?
Yes, it was just a faith by the Dr. Henneman who started the proving on the healthy humans. This is the only science which is having the power to prove the all medicines only on the human beings. In the other medical system, they are proving in the animals. They are just changing her genetic patterns by injecting vaccinations and different type of chemicals. But this is the only science which have a faith on the person and have a power to prove on the human.
Static. We got some static there. Are you continuing? Okay, so you have something more.
No, you just continue, Debbie.
Okay, Dr. Bob gives us a figure because he's a scientist and he likes data. 500 million people around the world use homeopathy as their primary medical rubric. Maybe that will lead us to, I gathered a little bit of information, a lot of information that probably could be 3 or 4 shows. Something, I don't know where I put it, but it was about using homeopathy from the World Health Organization that they do say it is the second most popular, most used form of medicine in the world, and many, many questions to that. There's another article. Homeopathic treatments may be putting patients at risk. If you just Google that or put in your search engine and find that, you will come up with this article. Homeopathy is an alternative medical philosophy based on the idea that the body has the ability to heal itself. How many people don't believe that? How many people have had a scratch, a cut, a fever, a burn, whatever it is, and their body wasn't able to heal? What was wrong? In those cases, probably they weren't caring for themselves, building the immunity, building their body, treating themselves properly in order for their body to utilize the energy to heal. If you're not eating well, if you're not sleeping well, if you're not getting sunlight, exercising, and living a joyful, purposeful life, you will be depressed and your immune system will be weakened. What we need in the medical community is to build up our better treatment of self and others. In that way, we will be able to heal, and each of us can heal each other. How many people are using Reiki and other forms of energy medicine? So to a point that is true, as the body does have immunological processes, so they give us that point, in place to prevent potentially harmful infestations and infections from occurring. For example, when a surface injury happens, the immune system responds with various systems related to cicatrization, using a big word there. The normal physiological process of wound healing is immediately set in motion the moment the skin is breached. Why are we destroying our inner and our exterior system of protection, our shield, our gut? We're doing so many things to destroy our gut. It's our second brain. It's our digestion. It's how we absorb nutrients. In previous shows on Blog Talk Radio, I've spoken with Dr. Herbert Roberts, MD, who is now no longer alive, but his words live on. And he tells us that within our digestion, if we cannot assimilate the nutrients properly, we're not going to have a good well-being. We're not going to be healthy. So how can we heal that? And a lot of people are really investigating how to eat better, more nutritionally. with sanctification, with holiness. So, factors that can inhibit or slow this process include diabetes, venous or arterial disease, biological age, hormones, and degree and type of infection. If the area becomes further infected, septic, or gangrenous, medical attention is required. Okay, why is it happening? As I said, are we changing our environment? Are we changing the foods that we put into our body so that our body looks at them as foreign, so that we cannot assimilate this nutrition? We have so many beautiful fruits and vegetables that are God-given for us, from the Garden of Eden, I should say. And what are we doing to recreate them into mixing species? What are we doing to put in pesticides, chemicals, glyphosate that actually creates a sterilization of the sperm? We're killing ourselves. We're looking at this foreign matter, and it looks deceptively like food, but it's not. So what is your reality? What is your truth? What is your belief? And you have to take action. Healing is not as easily seen, such as with cancers or foreign growths within the body, blood pressure fluctuations, and symptoms of other ailments. We've had multitude of conversations over the last 4 years on Homeopathy World Community about observation. Can a good healer, can a homeopath take in this information about the person's gestures, words, actions, sensations? Can they take that information in and know that there is something wrong inside? Do they take their physicians? He knew how to take a pulse. He knew how to look at a complexion. He knew how to check a person's tongue or their eyes or discharges. He knew all that. That's observation. The exterior is talking about the interior. Do we need all of the extras to know years in advance of disease that something is misaligned, that there's a dysfunction, that we need to step in and change something and help guide that patient, that client, to a better place? That's why I think so many people today have become personal coaches, because we need that witness. We need that other person to reflect, to shine that light on us, to help us, to guide us, to support us, to care for us, to love us. And I'm just talking from the heart. I really had nothing specific planned here. And let me just check if there's anybody on the chat right now who's with me. We have Dr. Bob, a ski accident is a major trauma. Arnica is not going to instantly mend bones and damage tissues. In those cases, we need intercession. We need a physician to go in and reset a bone. Hahnemann never said anything against that. That's emergency medicine. We need emergency doctors. Those are accidents. Those are traumas. That's a different part of medicine. But what about the cellular, the mental, the intellectual, the emotional trauma that occurred from that physical trauma? Is it still in the body? How can we release that trauma? Are you afraid to go back on the skis? Are you afraid to do something that you might get hurt again? Has it pervaded other aspects of your life? Do you feel like, something broke in you and it cannot be healed again? Your cells, even though we're constantly changing ourselves, they are transmitting this message. Dr. Kulbashan, you need to see a good homeopath, as arnica is not a cure all alone. That's true, but you know what? Arnica can certainly help. It can't hurt. Question is whether you think homeopathy is sometimes shown not to work in studies because of the vibrational level of the subjects. That's a good question. Absolutely. Hahnemann talks about it, and many of the other masters talk about palliative care. At what stage of pathological development of a disease are you taking on the care of an individual? If they have gone past the point of having the vital force within, the energy within, to do that repair work, to do that healing, then all you can do is make them comfortable and possibly help them with some of the discomforts and the symptoms that they have. But very often, we will see what people call miracles. I wish I could read some of them. Let me see if I have some miracles. I know people wrote to me. I hope everybody's listening in and taking a breath. Faith as homeopathy. Oh, here's one. Faith is homeopathy. When Bunny, I don't know, I guess it's a person. When Bunny was recently suffering a bout of sciatica, several friends suggested that she might try homeopathy. Even if it doesn't work, you've got nothing to lose. Even if it doesn't help you, it can't harm you, they said. So Bunny decided to give homeopathy a shot. Other friends of ours were horrified at this. You claim to be a rationalist. How can you believe in mumbo-jumbo like homeopathy, for which there is no scientific basis whatsoever? Again, a premise, a belief. Some people do, some people don't. Is that the starting point? The few cases in which it's supposed to have worked, there's a couple of cases that worked. If it works once, there's your proof. A few cases, it's not even one, it's a few cases in which it's supposed to have worked are obviously instances of the placebo effect. You believe strongly enough that something is going to cure you, you cure yourself. How can you behave or believe, probably, in homeopathy? How can you have faith in it? And the answer to that is that you don't have to have faith in something, be it homeopathy or anything else, in order to try it out, to practice it, while keeping your fingers crossed that it will work. Well, that's maybe superstition. Oh no, try that one. No.
I never understood what's wrong with the placebo effect. If you cause your body to fix it, what is wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with the placebo effect, except the fact that this is beyond the placebo effect. And you know what? Physicians around the world, 50% of what they do is placebo effect. Physicians, allopathic physicians.
I understand, but I mean, how can anybody knock it, like in that article that you're reading?
Right.
Well, if it worked, it must have been a placebo effect that caused your body to repair itself. Well, what's wrong with that?
I know.
By
Go
itself.
for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
They have a chip on their shoulder, that's what I can say. They're in opposition to allowing this freedom of practice, belief, and you know what? It's safe. It's completely safe. It could be that they're so afraid, and they say that it's going to kill you. That's what they say at the same time. I don't know who they were. Okay, so what does he say? And the answer to that is that you don't have to have faith in something, be it homeopathy or anything else, to try it out, to practice it while you keep your fingers crossed that it will work. In fact, faith itself, faith in a religion or in a non-denominational divine principle, which is synonymous with the cosmos, is like homeopathy in that sense. You don't have to have faith in order to try it out, to practice it, keeping your fingers crossed that it works. For some, faith, the ability to believe in something that is beyond everyday consciousness and understanding, comes naturally. It's an innate gift. It is a gift. Or a talent, like being able to sing well, or have a flair for mathematics and be able to work out complicated sums in your head. But for many, if not most, faith is not something given. What a beautiful statement. What a beautiful statement. We are on this planet in this journey because we do have doubts. We do have self-doubts. We do have doubts about everything, and we question, and that is our purpose, to question, to search, to find, to grow, to evolve. to find grace in this world. And so many times it happens every day, at almost every moment. Something is happening in your world that you might call serendipity, coincidence. How did this happen? Let me finish with this person, and then I'm going to get on to something that did happen last night. For many, if not most, faith is not something given, but something that has to be acquired. Basically, if you want faith, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to put in your energy, put in your mindfulness to bring that faith to you. A process made doubly difficult, he says, because you don't have faith in faith. You are seeking. We're all seekers. So why seek this elusive faith that you don't believe in, that you don't have faith in the first place? You only seek faith when in desperation. How many people, when they're in trauma, when they're looking at death in the face, when they have, they're grieving a loss of someone, in their desperation, all of a sudden they have faith, right? Help me. Then they pray. You are driven to faith by the opposite of faith, which is despair. Despair is like a bad attack of spiritual sciatica. That's pretty good. It's a pain in the back, down the legs, and an unbearably painful condition brought on by an overwhelming sense that not just your particular life or human life in general, but the working of the universe itself is totally devoid of meaning. This is where we go into depression. We have to go inside and find our purpose, our meaning. Despair can be caused by any number of factors: the devastating loss of a loved one, the post-traumatic stress of a life-threatening experience. And this is where homeopathy comes in, because we do have these energetic remedies, medicines that are so powerful, that work at that spiritual level, that work to help us to cope through traumatic experiences and release the suffering within, release the memory, so that we can look at it cognitively, objectively. Yes, I did lose my mother, I did lose my brother, I did lose a loved one, or a child who loses a doll or a favorite blanket or a book. Whatever it is, there's despair. But we can move forward. Homeopathy, he says, is based on the pseudoscientific principle of toxin-antitoxin, that a very diluted dose of the poison that is causing your ailment will cure your ailment. False! That's not homeopathy, is it? Homeopathy is based on similars. And it's a medicine that's based on natural laws. It is holistic, and it is based on the principle of similars, something similar, creating an artificial disease in the body, resonating with your pattern, will initiate the self-healing. It's not simply toxin-antitoxin. And it is not simply a diluted dose. It is a minimal dose. If I bring you joy by smiling at you and smiling at you, you're going to feel better. How many hugs are you supposed to have a day? 8. You're supposed to have 8 hugs a day. One is better than none. Even hug yourself. If the pain of despair makes you seek it, the flower of the faith you hope to cultivate will blossom out of the seeds of your despair, he says, and will be all the more enduring for that. For most, faith is not a gift, it is an act of will, an act of choice to overcome despair. Act as if you have faith. That's great advice. Be here now, project the future, see yourself as you wish to be. This is something that we need to practice in our meditation. Try meditation, participate in bhajans or other spiritual or religious rituals and disciplines, he says, and hope that faith will follow. We on the planet have to do action. Oh, I see that people have been chatting here. Which one shall I pick? Kavitha. I always advise for those folks who don't believe in homeopathy, who wants to see the curative power of homeopathy, I sincerely request them to try simple remedies. Very good. In acute illness, arnica, calendula, hypericum, ledum, arsenicum album for anxiety, for their simple problems like injuries, dental work, food poisoning. We have a big problem with food poisoning, do we not? It's going to come in very, very handy to alleviate what we're doing to our bodies. Kathy says, we know those who are convinced homeopathy doesn't work are going to listen to anything. They are not going to listen to anything. I've had homeopathy work in our farm animals. It is not placebo. It's like Bible bashing, talking with those who will not believe. It doesn't convince anyone. I think it's wise to be building homeopathy among those whom we know are listening. Beautiful. We have to, like attracts like, we have to find like-minded people and reach out to those who want to listen. That's really where we need to be. And if there are articles that are negative toward homeopathy, put your loving, positive message. Tell people what's happening for you with homeopathy and go and leave it at that. There's no point in arguing. Dr. Bob has some kind of quote about that, but something, no point in arguing with a pig or something. I don't know.
Here I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Yes, basically those are not believing in homeopathy, so this is not a problem of homeopathy. It's a problem of the existing science and the scientists who are unable to prove or the search the energy of the homeopathic dilution. This is a problem of the science. Homeopathy is working well good, and it's growing day by day. Every skeptical, those who are commenting in against of homeopathy, it's mean that he hear about the homeopathy. So why he blaming it? Because it's a failure of science who does not search the energy of dilution. So we do not need to worry anything about it.
Right. So good job. So it's not necessarily, I mean, science is there. It's fact, you know, and we keep learning new fact, and that's how we evolve. If you're a surgeon, you believe in doing surgery. If you're an oncologist, you believe in doing chemotherapy. Whatever it is that you the tools that are at your disposal that you know about, that you have used, that's your belief system. If you're a scientist who is not going outside the box, and I'll tell you, homeopaths throughout history have gone outside the box. Scientists have gone, how many, help me somebody, Galileo, Newton, Einstein,
Yes.
all of these
basically,
have pushed the envelope.
Basically these scientists are in a box of Avogadro number only. They are not searching on the beyond the Avogadro number, and every homeopathic dilution beyond the 6 potency or 10 potency have energy only. So this is only purely a problem of the scientists and the existing science who are unable to search this energy.
Right.
This will happen. This will happen in few days or few many years. It may be proven, but the totally failure of the scientists today.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's a failure of this. I think that there are individuals who have their belief system and they're stuck in that, and they're not able to open up to newer concepts, which and this is one of the things I've been mulling about in my mind, we are in the information age. We are in the digital age. We are in this new messaging communication age. There was a time that we looked up into space and we looked at the stars and we looked at what was distant and we gained knowledge. Now we're looking smaller and smaller at the nanoparticles, at the energy waves, at quantum theory, at all of these other forms of science. So we are starting to awaken to homeopathic healing. And I think it's going to be the wave of the future, and it's waves of awareness, and it's also going to be needed. It's going to be the form of medicine most needed as we continue this journey of evolving the planet.
Exactly.
I hope everybody understands where I come from with that. Dr. Kubashan says, Kathy, I've given arnica to several friends who injured themselves, and every time they have been impressed that the swelling, bruising has decreased. It's like my skeptical husband in the apis with his bug bites. It's like starting saying, taste this. You know, you can't know unless if a dish is good or not, unless you taste it. He loves how well allium cepa helps with certain symptoms of hay fever. The proof is in the pudding. Kavitha says, with respect to faith, there is a saying in Indian mythology that, quote, the more you keep faith and believe in God, guru, and doctor, you will receive the benefits the same way and of the same strength. Beautiful. I also have similar quotes that, you know, when you wake up in the morning, we say thankfulness to the Creator for giving us life. We have faith in Him that He has given us life, but He has faith in us that He has entrusted us to be on the planet as much as I want to say, negative stuff is going on. I won't call it doo-doo. The bad stuff is happening on the planet, and He still lets us wake up the next day and try it again. Well, we've got to, and you know what? Those people who give a really hard journey, He believes that we can get through it, doesn't He? Bob says the power of positive thinking. Mind over matter. Amnon. Woo! Dr. Kubashan, apart from my regular practice, I treat so many pets, from dogs to parrots. Wonderful. And on Facebook, I saw that Dr. Rafiq has also, and Dr. Dr. Kasim, Chimtalawala Kasim, has just treated a wild bird, and healed him. So we have these life experiences that continue to prove to us that we're on the right track.
Debbie, I've got some. Let's get back to Earth.
Back to Earth.
You've been talking, and others been talking about arnica.
Yes.
Let's say that somebody's listening to your show now, or later, and they say, you know, I'll try it when something happens. How can it hurt them?
Well, the only way it could hurt, if it's not a perfect match, then they're going to lose their faith.
Okay.
That's one thing.
Now,
they will lose their faith. They will lose.
Yeah.
But how many times have you fallen and gotten up again? How many times do you have to fall and get up? How many doctors do you have to knock on door to find out what is wrong with you? And somebody, please give me a diagnosis.
Right.
So just because you tried it 1 or 2 or 3 times and you didn't get it, it doesn't mean it's not real.
Dr. Sharma, you were going to say?
Yes. Basically, we are not given a prescription of arnica. We are not telling about the potencies you are taking. It's a job of a homeopath. So we are just telling about the qualities of arnica here.
No, my question was, I'm not a real believer in homeopathy, and I listened to the show and I said, I'm going to go to Whole Foods and I'm going to get some, and I get a little bottle and I keep it with me, and now let's take it a step farther. Let's say that I picked up the wrong bottle, and it's something else. How can, physically, mentally, can any of these remedies hurt anybody if they took it and it was the wrong thing anyway?
Well, it depends on how you take it. So if
what you get in the store is very low, right?
Yes.
It's very low,
Okay.
but go ahead. You want to talk about proving?
Yes. If the arnica is repeated and the lower potency very frequently, it's just proving he had a symptom of arnica. It may produce the swelling anywhere. It may produce the feeling of drowsiness inside the body. So it may be the proof if the potency is good.
If you
So
continue
yeah,
to take it over, if you take the entire bottle day after day after day.
Yeah.
And how many people will take an aspirin day after day after day if every time they take it, they don't feel good?
Right.
So you need to witness yourself, observe yourself, and
yes.
ask somebody for help. We do need help. We do need support.
Yep.
Act as if you have faith. Try meditation. Pascal called spiritual faith a gamble, a wager, in which if you lost nothing, but you had nothing to begin with. But if you won infinite riches. So try the gamble, because, as with homeopathy, what have you got to lose? Nothing but the anguish of despair. That kind of answers your question, does it not?
Absolutely.
That answers your question. And you know, I probably have about 3 more sessions of notes here. So if we're ending now, what can I say as I want to tell you that folks who have put stuff up on Facebook, Homeopathy World Community, I appreciate it. Simon King, I know that you gave me links. A lot of people gave me links. I put up a quote from Mark O'Sullivan, who is out there advocating all the time, teaching agro-homeopathy. So there is homeopathy for your plants. Somebody, June Stoyer, said that her pear tree has rust spots all over it. So I gave a suggestion, give a try to belladonna. Can't hurt, right? So he says, you don't need faith in homeopathy when there is evidence and experience of it working. Despite the skeptical mantra of, quote, there is no evidence, there is plenty of evidence, including RCTs, of homeopathy's effectiveness. Look beyond the tunnel vision of RCTs and you find homeopathy consistently recording over 70% effectiveness in outcome studies. This plus 200 years plus of clinical experience and millions of users. That is the message that went viral. To me, it went viral because in a few hours, Mark O'Sullivan, an Irish homeopath, this was seen 3,470 views and 53 shares. This is important information. I also want to let you know about Lionel Milgram, and he sent me a message just over the weekend while I was away, and I couldn't really respond. I tried to get, he has created his ebook finally after many years. He is a physicist and a homeopath, definitely rooted in science. And if you, let me see if I can find for you. I might not be able to. I can put it on Homeopathy World Community that he wrote a brand new ebook, and it's about this evidence-based information about science. Oh, it says my ebook is now up, and he is on vacation in France, so he couldn't provide for us a quote. I tried to purchase it, but it looks like only if you're in the UK on Amazon are you able to do that. The name of it is Conflict, Homeopathy and Science on Trial. Homeopathy and Science, a Guide for the Perplexed. So check that out. I wanted to thank Christina Munn, that was my serendipity. Can I talk about my serendipity? Move it along. My serendipity was that I was searching for what to talk about today. As you know, this was an impromptu show. And I came across Bruce, what's his name? And he, if I can remember names, that's one of my things. We'll have to also have Ananda Moore on about transference, how we live in the field. Well, it's on my website. Bruce, you know who you are, and you're a consciousness worker. I think his last name is Lipton. I put a little video there, and laugh with me, everybody. It's fun. It's joyous. I don't remember everything and everybody's name. So I was reading about this, about the field, about consciousness, about home. This was his answer for homeopathy, about this energy medicine. And right away, I finished watching the video, and I got an email from Christina Munns, who is doing her work in the Unity. Where are you? It's at the top of the page here, the unified field, and she has a program going on. If you want to check it out, she said it's going to be very helpful for homeopaths, anybody who wants to learn about energy medicine, about quantum energy. She's got a whole course lined up. You could probably just search online for Christina Munns, Munns. I want to thank Parveen and Marilyn. My little wand that I love from my youth when I watched television. Who knows what the show was? Romper Room. Was it Romper Room? And she called out to the people. She was a hit. She called out to the little children who were watching in their homes on the black and white television, and she would call out their names. And she would say Parveen and Marilyn, Deepak and Kavitha, Amnon and Bob, Kathy, Mariana, and Dr. K, all of you, and happy birthday. And that, everybody loved her because she touched them in some way with being acknowledged, being listened to, being seen, and we all need and want that. And that's what homeopathy frees us. I have lots more
And you know we
cards.
love you.
Thank you so much.
Joanne? No, Susan.
Yeah, I forgot my name again. Yes, my middle name, Sue. You got it. Beyond doubt. Keep seeking for your freedom, and look to science, because science does have answers. It really, truly does. And the proof is in you. Anybody else have something to contribute here? Thank you. We are full of light. Sending tons of love. Hey, we're going to have one more show on Wednesday. Blog Talk Radio, I think it's like the last chapter, 34 chapters. I've been reading Dr. Herbert Roberts, MD, who's like a brilliant teacher. You can study with him. Listen to the archives and get on Wednesday at 10:30. On Thursday is Alan Phillips talking about vaccinations and your rights in the U.S. He is amazing, totally amazing, knowledgeable. He will help guide you. Do not believe that you do not have the power for health freedom, because you do, and it's in our Constitution, and hopefully somebody will engage and help you. Next show, we're going to take a moment. Next show, Dr. Jeff Feynman, DVM, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. We'll speak to him about homeopathy. Dr. Sharma, you have some words for the listening public.
Yes. I think Praveen, Marilyn, and everyone share about the faith. And I am also saying those who are not a believer of homeopathy, and I always said that you just take a pills I given, and you just see a magic of in a few days. I never give a placebo. I just give one dose and just tell you just come back in after 2 or 3 months and tell me what you realize. That is the only faith I have on the potencies or homeopathy.
Right. You have complete faith because you've seen it every single day.
Yes.
In your life.
Yes.
And for those who really enjoyed this type of a impromptu show, please let me know. Give me some feedback either via email, homeopathyworldcommunity@gmail.com, on Facebook, or via Twitter. We're out there everywhere you are. So send us some messages, and we'll do it again when we are not having a special guest. Did I tell you? I told you who the special guest was. Yep. Okay. And then July 22, following that, is going to be Phyllis Georgic. She's going to come back with us and really hone in on Ferrum Foss. Oh, I want to learn about that. Sending waves of awareness and lots of love. Be well.
Thank you.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays 8 till 9 p.m. Health Inn with Debbie Bruck, Mondays 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays 8 till 9 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by thatvidblasterguy.com, carolinaapparel.com, and deltaforce.net.